Hello, everybody. This is going to be a quick demo where what to do if you've installed the correct version of the JDK, you've installed the correct version of Eclipse, but you brought in your new project into an old workspace that happened to have been set up on a different version. So sometimes you end up in this situation, and we'll imagine this scenario here. So imagine that I took 131 previously, and it used a different version of the JDK. I actually took 101 back when Reagan was president, before Java was ever invented, but let's just assume I took it in the fall of 17, which is the first time I ever became part of it. One of the things is sometimes you have old projects in your repo that have errors that sort of occlude, make it difficult to see the errors that are in your version. So one of the things you can do, first of all, is right-click on your old projects and close them. That'll bring us down to just these problems. You can also right-click and delete them if you want. If you don't delete them on this, they'll still be there. You can always bring them back. You can do whatever you want. But now we just have our project for 231, and we can see that there's this problem, and it's saying, I scroll this over, unbound thing where it's like requiring at least JDK 16. And this guy is going to be set up on an old version, and so it's not really going to work. So the first thing you can do there is go to Window on Windows or Linux. It'll be over in like the normal place that preferences are is on the Mac. And we're going to come over here, and I'm just going to type in VM into this top guy right here, and it'll show me the installed JREs. Those are sort of the Java runtime environments. You can see here I have JDK 1.8, which is not 16 or greater, or whatever your current semester requires. So what I can do is add a new repo. Standard VM's good. I'm going to go to a directory here. It's going to be in my directory. Where you want to go is like C program files. You can get to that usually by like finding your C drive, program files, and let's go scroll up. There's Java. You can see I have JDK 1.8 versions. I want the latest version. In this case, it's 17. Once I get into that JDK directory, if I select the folder, you'll see that it is now a valid option, and I'll bring that in. Now, the JDK 1.8 is still the default version. I'm going to change that to be the default version and then select back and remove this. It just, to me, it won't be a problem to leave it around necessarily, but I like to have only one JDK and the most recent one. So whenever I like tunnel into types, there's only one string, for example. So I'm going to remove that, hit apply, and I could have just hit apply and close, and you can see now it's working. If I come over here and maybe I hit Control-Shift-T, that'll be Command-Shift-T on the Mac, and I do like star half star suite for and the half and half nucleobase counter test suite. If I run this, it's going to ask me if it's okay to run. You can see now that it's working. Well, not working, but it's like no longer has a problem for the virtual machine. Now we actually have to write the code for calculate midpoint. What I'll say further is what happens sometimes, some people have this problem. So if it still doesn't work, if it still doesn't let you, you're still hitting problems. One of the things that some students have is you might have to go here, go back to preferences, and look at this compiler spot. You can see here that it's at 1.8. I'm sure a problem was going to come up at some point for this, that it was still here. I think actually your project is okay at this point. I bet my project settings, I right click on the project and go to properties. It's set at 16, so we're okay. It's like has specific ones. You may have a problem, and one of the things to look for if the virtual machine changing or the JDK changing doesn't fix is you can change this compiler, JDK compliance to 16. Like I said, your project should, or 17, whatever, or greater than 16 is fine. You shouldn't have this problem because your project hopefully has it set up to be 16, but look to that for the next problem. And obviously post to Piazza or wherever, get some help if none of these things work, but this is a good first thing to try. And so with that, good luck getting by this problem if you have it.